Hi everyone and welcome to TNT. Hope you're well. Now today we're talking about cannabis. It's been, 2 or 3 months since that initial crackdown, tightening of the guidelines here in Thailand, and hard to come by a really good and clear article on the matter. Lonely Planet have come to the rescue on their lonelyplanet.com website. We'll go to that in just a moment. But I remember when I first came to Thailand some 25 years ago, like anybody else going to a new country, went and bought the Lonely Planet guide, as you do, opened it up, and it said, welcome to Thailand, the land of 1,000 temples, now also known as the land of 1,000 7-Elevens. I thought, oh, good, I think I found the right publication, a bit of wit. Actually wrong too, because Thailand, I think, has some over 14,000 7-Elevens. There's one popping up on every corner whenever I drive by. Okay, let's go to this article on lonelyplanet.com. Cannabis in Thailand, what travellers need to know. And it's been penned by Aidan Stewart and Austin Bush. Let's go to it. Not long ago, Thailand had some of the strictest drug policies in the world. Then in 2018, the government legalised medical cannabis, launching the country's first foray into the weed game. Now, at the time, there was not much said about that initial legalisation of medical cannabis. That all changed in 2022. It says in that year, Thailand's Food and Drug Administration went further, removing marijuana and hemp from the Category 5 narcotics list, effectively decriminalising these substances. Actually, it was under the orders of the then Public Health Minister, now the current Prime Minister, Anutin, who was under, at the stage, an emergency decree in Thailand and was able to make that unilateral change. This change meant that just about everyone, save those under 20 and pregnant and breastfeeding mothers, could grow, smoke, consume, sell and buy cannabis without any retribution. And it's about those limits, and a lot of it lost in translation at the time, where people got a bit confused exactly what was being proposed. One rule held that extracted cannabis content must contain less than 0.2% THC, generally considered a very small amount of the stuff that gets you high. Still, and this is what people decided, decriminalisation allowed a free pass to unlicensed vendors with thousands of entrepreneurial ties openly selling weed products that far exceeded the government's THC limit. And as part of the Green Rush, weed dispensaries and other related businesses proliferated along Bangkok's Khao San Road, beach resorts, regional cities like Chiang Mai, and just about anywhere else tourists congregated. So without any specific guidelines, and Anutin did try to push through something variously described as the Cannabis Act, some 4 times, and 4 times it was rejected. So the situation basically just proliferated and flourished. Well, then came the backlash. Authorities had promised further regulations and guidance to mitigate the quick transformation of Thailand into a centre of weed tourism and the addiction, trafficking and other social problems that followed. Yet political gridlock meant little happened until June 2025, when a new government promulgated rules that turned the status quo back to 2018. Today, anyone who wishes to buy marijuana in Thailand once again requires a medical prescription. So in 2022 and 2023, the political position on cannabis was really quite clear. Although Anutin and his Thai party wanted to see weed in Thailand flourish, they were the only party that really supported this action. All the other parties kept on voting against it, like all the other parties. And then when it came to the 2023 election, all the parties, except Thai, had stated quite clearly that they wanted to either wind back or reverse the decision on the decriminalisation of cannabis. And this article says that between 2022 and 2025, a shaky status quo regarding weed held in Thailand. High THC weed was openly sold, as Thais took full advantage of the legal grey area around recreational usage. And the next part is the crux of the matter: police and other authorities unable to enforce any potency rules. But it says they did, though occasionally punish public smoking of marijuana using a provision of the 1992 health law. So apart from preventing people just openly smoking on the streets, they were sort of hamstrung in exactly what they could do without any clear guidelines. It says those days are over. As of June 2025, dispensaries may sell marijuana only to those with a valid medical prescription. Anyone violating this rule is subject to a fine of 20,000 baht and up to 1 year in jail. Unlikely. An irony that the man who spearheaded all this back in 2022 is now the Prime Minister of Thailand, well, at least for 4 months. And down the bottom there, very importantly, where this leaves the tens of thousands of weed-related businesses that emerged in recent years is unclear. Now, you would have thought that with all the confusion and a lack of clarification in the early days, that all these people that invested money into, well, farms and also opening retail businesses may have some claim with a group action. I've seen nothing so far, and I think I know the result of what would happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw at least an attempt at a group legal action. So the Lonely Planet article asks the question, so what does that mean for a tourist looking to enjoy legal weed? It says the Department of Thai Traditional and Alternative Medicines allows the sale of cannabis to customers with one of 5 medical conditions: insomnia, chronic pain, migraines, Parkinson's disease and loss of appetite. A prescription from a licensed Thai medical professional is required, which means any tourist must visit the doctor's office before the dispensary. Well, you can be sure that there are workarounds emerging. For example, if there's 3 or 4 cannabis shops left in a street, you can be pretty sure that they'll be sharing a doctor just wandering between the dispensaries, and there'll be other workarounds as well, like, a doctor on the phone. And as the new rules take effect, conflicting reports have emerged, of course. The government claims to have shut down thousands of illegal businesses. Countless others have closed as their sales crashed. Yet some reports indicate that many dispensaries continue to operate discreetly and in violation of the rules, swapping green neon signs and flashy graphics for tinted windows and natural pharmacist signs. And while the situation could change yet again, the government's U-turn means that Thailand won't be a destination for marijuana tourism anytime soon. Unless you can obtain a valid prescription once you're in Thailand, we do not recommend patronising weed-related shops in the country, risking fines or worse. Well, that recommendation from lonelyplanet.com. My recommendation would be to do some homework and have a talk to some locals before you do something. And to the question, can I bring my own cannabis products to Thailand? The answer is no. And down the bottom there, as with any controlled substance in Southeast Asia, it's best to proceed with caution and stay up to date whenever possible. So a few quick things before we go. Firstly, now that Anutin is the Prime Minister of Thailand for the next 4 months, are people thinking, maybe he'll reverse everything, we'll go back to where we were. I would say that's extremely doubtful. This next 4 months is going to be a bit of a dress rehearsal for Anutin as a future Prime Minister after an election, and he's not going to be doing anything that may be seen as sort of rocking the boat or getting the elites upset. So I think very, very doubtful, but it is Thailand, so I don't really know. The other thing is that when all this happened back in 2022, I had the opportunity to go to 2 different legal companies and get a briefing from them, because they were representing the initial flourish of people knocking on their door saying, hey, what do we need to do to start growing cannabis or selling cannabis? And officially they were saying, well, there's this sort of paperwork you've got to do, and here's the registration, and here's the website, and this is what you sort of need to be doing, and here's the business licenses. But when it came to talking to foreigners, they were basically saying, don't touch it with a barge pole. And well, here we are in 2025, and as far as we can advise you, is currently you're going to need some sort of doctor's prescription to be able to purchase cannabis legally. I hope that's been helpful. I know I'm going to get plenty of comments. If you're directing your hate towards me, you're wasting your time. What you need to do is write to Anutin or write to the government or the MPs. They're the ones who make the decisions. I can't change the decisions no matter what I personally think. I hope I've provided that information without any bias, as I've been accused of in the past. Anyway, I do look forward to your comments. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.